Hello everyone, and welcome to this video of writing names and formulas for covalent compounds. First of all, I would like to apologize for the poor quality of the video, but I had to do this quickly. So hopefully you'll be able to see and hear and follow along and take all the notes that you need. So first thing you want to make sure you have, I gave you this note sheet in class today, names and formulas of covalent compounds. You're going to need that. I'm going to go through a couple slides and write out some examples where you will want to be filling in your note sheet. So the first question on your note sheet says, what do we use instead of charges? We know covalent compounds are made of nonmetals, which we know tend to gain electrons, which means two nonmetals paired together are both going to be anions, have negative charges. So we need another way to distinguish because the charges aren't going to bounce. So instead of using charges, we are going to use prefixes. Okay, so this is the part from the slide that you want to include. Instead of using charges, we're going to use prefixes to tell us how many of each type in the formula and in the name. So next I put on your sheet this 1 through 10. Oh, there it is, 1 through 10. And here are the 10 prefixes that we will use. Luckily, a lot of these should already be familiar to you, so you won't have to learn them. A couple might not be, but again, a lot of these you should already know. So I would pause the video now so you can fill these in on your note sheet. All right, so next thing, how we name covalent compounds. So the first element, we use the prefix followed by the name. The second element, we use the prefix, the name, and the ending "ide," I-D-E, just like we did with ionic. So again, first element, prefix and name. Second element, prefix name with I-D-E. And then you can see on your note sheet I put a couple exceptions. The first exception is that we don't use mono if there's only one of the first element. So we only use mono if needed with the second element. An example of this that you're probably already familiar with is carbon monoxide. So again, the carbon we don't use mono, but the oxygen monoxide we do. Another exception is we don't use double vowels. So you can see AO or OO. An example, the one I just did, monoxide, we don't say monooxide. We take off the O, so it's just monoxide. Or if you needed 5 oxygens, you wouldn't say pentaoxide. You'd take the A off and it would be pentoxide. Now, I did not put anything, the di and tri, you always keep those I's because otherwise you're losing half of the prefix name. So for example, carbon dioxide, that's one that you're familiar with. We keep the I with that. So I think we're ready for some examples. Find my paper here. Okay, so the first one I gave you, oh, there we go, was P4O10. So our prefix for 4 we know is tetra, and then P is phosphorus, and 10 is deca and oxygen. So here's where we're going to take off the A and just do decoxide. So P4O10 will be tetraphosphorus decoxide. And then OF2. So again, we only have one oxygen, but that's the first, so we're not going to use our mono. We're just going to keep it oxygen. And then 2 fluorines will become difluoride. Oh, shoot. Difluoride. Sorry, it's hard to write and film at the same time. Hopefully you can see this. So now you should pause and take a couple minutes and you fill in this section of you try on your own. Okay, so again, pause, fill that in. All right, welcome back. Now you've filled those in. We will check those in class. So let's reverse it. Now writing the formulas, these are easy because again, we don't have to figure out charges. We just use the prefixes to tell us. So dinitrogen trioxide tells us 2 nitrogens and 3 oxygens. We don't flip anything, it's just dinitrogen, 2 nitrogens, trioxide, 3 oxygens. So again, take a couple minutes and fill in the rest of the you try. So I'm going to check for homework. You should have this entire front side filled. The back side we'll do in class. Again, for homework, I'm going to check that you took the notes and that you answered all of the you try. And I will see you soon.